What's up, beautiful people? Coach B here, and today I wanted to come on and talk about my personal struggles with anxiety. And the reason I titled this as my secret struggle, or put the word secret in it, was to it's not like a secret as in I don't talk about it, but it's a secret as in many people expect certain people to not struggle with life challenges, i.e., anxiety. People don't expect a coach, a woman of God, a minister, a clinician to struggle with anxiety. But I do struggle with anxiety and other life things just like you and just like everybody else. So I just wanted to come up here today and speak briefly about it because, right now we are living through a pandemic. Many of us, this will be our first and last time ever experiencing something of this magnitude, and many of us are struggling with anxiety. So I figured just talking about, the little bit of anxiety that I have had to deal with just in life could help you during this time. So first of all, I want to demystify the myths of anxiety. I want to detach everything that you think anxiety is. And many people, I used to think that anxiety was a crazy person or someone that was always looking over their shoulder and they were looking crazy and having all these moments. As a child, that's what I pictured anxiety to be. And I am 35 years old. I did not realize I was struggling with anxiety until it was in my 30s. I might have been 31 or 32. And it happened because I experienced my first panic attack. I have not had many, but as a clinician, you may know what everything looks like, but oftentimes, it's still hard to identify things in yourself. So again, I had no clue that I was struggling with anxiety and then had a panic attack one day and was like, oh crap, we need to deal with this. So what anxiety can look like is overthinking slash over planning. You're constantly overthinking. You're constantly thinking ahead. You're constantly thinking about what ifs. You're constantly planning for a crisis to happen that has not happened yet. Insomnia or frequent REM sleep, REM being rapid eye movement sleep. It's when your brain is not completely settled. You're not in that, deep sleep, like comatose state, but you're right at that layer where you're almost kind of awake, and your brain is racing. That is a sign of anxiety. Obsession, when you are constantly obsessing about things, obsessing about cleanliness, obsessing about how things are. When we think of obsessing, we think of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. You're constantly obsessing. Excessive substance abuse or substance use, excessive substance use. These are all signs that you may be dealing with anxiety. So I said that to say, look at these symptoms as well as all the other ones you've thought about or heard about before. And there are many other symptoms that you could be dealing with anxiety. These are just a few. And finally, I just want to talk about really quick how I deal with it. And I'm saying deal in present tense because this is something that I continue to process through on a daily basis. I just thought about something. Do I have it? Do I have it? Do I have it? I do have it in my work bag. Okay. First way that I dealt with my anxiety was identifying it. Saying, okay, this is what this is. This is what you are experiencing. This is what you are going through, Brandy, and it is okay. But identifying, no, I didn't just have a panic attack because I had a panic attack. And no, I'm not crazy because I'm dealing with anxiety. And it's okay. So identify that it's anxiety and be okay with that, no matter what state of life you're in. The second thing and the most important thing is identifying and utilizing your coping skills. Like everything else that we always talk about, you have to have individualized coping skills and coping mechanisms. Things that work for me are not going to always work for you and vice versa. There may be some things that work for each of us, but you're going to have to find your specific ones. For me, number one is prayer. I do a lot of prayer, out loud, verbal, inside, in my head, just prayer. One of my favorite scriptures is Philippians 4:6. It says to be anxious for nothing, but in prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, make your requests known. But I have to recite that scripture often when I feel anxiety coming on about anything, or just generally coming on for no reason at all. I recite that scripture. That works for me. Deep breathing. I am a humongous believer in deep breathing. It slows you down. It centers you in the moment. It allows oxygen to get to your brain so that you can calm yourself. So deep breathing is really good. Peppermint and essential oils. I burn oils. I have diffusers. I have peppermint oil that I carry with me. And I sniff it and it just smells so good. You can read into essential oils and Eastern medicine and how they help with different things, headaches, body pain, anxiety. Peppermint oil works for me. A lot of people like lavender, mandarin oil, tea tree oil, plenty of essential oils. But this was actually gifted to me and I have a bunch of peppermint oils actually. But this is a roll on. I'm not rolling it on, but I just sniff it and it is just everything. Causes all the little fiery darts in my brain to go off. And I stopped being hard on myself about it. So again, as a woman of God, as a life coach, as a clinician, as all these things that I am, I'm not supposed to have anxiety. I'm not supposed to struggle with anxiety. I'm not supposed to have a weakness. Lies. I accepted that even as a woman of God, even as a clinician, even as a coach, I still had anxiety. And I said, Brandy, it is okay. You are human. And not only did I stop being hard on myself, I stopped allowing anyone else to judge me. Whether they were really judging me or in my head they were judging me. I stopped allowing that to impact me. And I decided to just own my truth and be okay with my truth and help somebody else with my truth. And finally, I learned that for me, I have to take it one day at a time and often one moment at a time. I am a person, because I have hit rock bottom in a sense. I've had some very low points in my life. There's a fear of, I don't want to go back there. Like, I'm scared to go back there. So in order to prevent that, I'm thinking about the future. What can I do? How can I do? What can I say? I'm thinking about everything to never get to that place again. And that itself caused me anxiety. So I had to start just saying, Brandy, one day at a time. Well, and that's even in the word. He talks about thinking about today. Tomorrow will worry about itself. I had to say, Brandy, what can you do today? What are your responsibilities today? Your obligation, your desires? What can you do today? And when there's a really anxious day, I said, okay, sometimes days don't work. Brandy, what can you do in this moment? In this moment, center yourself. Focus your emotions, focus your heart, focus your breathing, focus your thoughts. What can you take care of in this moment? So for me, I have learned that slowing myself down helps with anxiety. There's so much more we can talk about. There is so much more you can research on your own, but this is just briefly what has helped for me. And I just pray that you no longer beat up yourself or judge yourself or come down on yourself about struggling with anxiety. And during this time, I'm just challenging you guys to use these quick little tools. Also, therapy's okay. Medication's okay. You might have to go through a therapist and they might have to prescribe you medication for a while. It's okay. Get help. Do what you need to do for you. Guys, stay healthy mentally and physically. Stay happy. I love you guys so much. Peace and blessings, Coach B.